Hey, I've been listening into your living rooms, and I'm hearing some of you folks grousing around, complaining around about the tractor lover in your life, and you say, I don't know what to get him. All he wants is tractor stuff, and I have no idea what to get. You'll have no excuse after this episode. We're going to show you some great tractor gifts. Let's get started. The first thing I want to show you is what they call a SolderSeal connector. I saw these things about 2 years ago and they were way too expensive for me. Well, during this past year, they've gotten much less expensive. Yeah, one thing that has reduced in price over the last year. So give you a little look at this. It's got solder right in the middle of it, and then it's got on each end, it's a heat shrink tape. Just a heat shrink tube, just like you would find on most connectors. But the solder in the middle is what makes it work. I'm actually going to show it right here. I've got a wire that I've already cut and stripped. I'll put this little connector on. I've got another wire, another end that I'm going to put together. So what we do is when you cut and strip, I just kind of rub this with my finger to kind of rub those wires apart, and then I want to just merge them together. So I put the two wires together, kind of intertwine all of the different strands here of the wire. This is 14 gauge wire, and then I'm going to slide my solder seal right over the top of it. Hopefully I get all of those wires. There we go. Now I'm going to use a heat gun here. This particular heat gun was given to me by neighborly neighbor Lee. He was in some of our early videos when we lived in Carmel. It's always great to have a neighborly neighbor, but it's even better when that neighborly neighbor is named Lee. Neighborly neighbor Lee. But you can get any of these heat guns. I mean, they're really not very expensive. They're just a little bit hotter than a blow dryer. But I saw some on Amazon for $20 or a little bit more. I'm just going to take this heat gun and I'm going to aim directly at the solder in the middle because it takes the longest to heat. The heat shrink around the ends shrinks first. And then a little while longer, you see the solder begin to shrink up, and that's what's happening right here. Now, some of the heat guns that I saw on Amazon had a little steel piece of backing on it, which allows you to heat both sides at the same time. I thought that was maybe a gimmick, and maybe something would work well. I'm really not sure. So you have to heat this a little longer than you would a typical piece of heat shrink. But that's all there is to it. You have a good connection. I'm not going to pull on it right this minute. I'm going to move on to something else. We'll get back to this in a little bit. Now, those connectors, along with a lot of the things that you see today, are going to be available on our Amazon store. Amazon.com/shop/tractortimewithtim. I don't really care if you buy it from our Amazon store. We do get a little commission if you buy it through there, and of course we appreciate that. But the objective of this video is not to try to get you to buy stuff off our store. The objective is just to show you some good ideas. But if you're so inclined, it doesn't cost you any more. Go to amazon.com/shop/tractortimewithtim and get some of these items or whichever ones that you find useful. Again, it doesn't matter to me. We're not trying to really sell these items. I'm just trying to help you guys find some things. Okay, what's next? Speaking of our Amazon store, here's something that I've shown in the past, but I really haven't talked about for several years. And what makes me or reminds me that I need to talk about it is when we've actually visited several people. They said, hey, those are really cool. What are they? Well, these are called CargoBuckles, and these are used for tie downs on your trailer. They have a working load limit of 1,166 pounds, okay, but they auto retract. 6 foot long, they'll extend 6 foot, and they auto retract. Now, this one is how they come from Amazon when you buy them or wherever you buy them, okay? It's just got a hole there. I'll show you some older ones that I've got. With my favorite approach, I put a chain on them, okay? Just a little pigtail chain. And according to Trooper Hoover, I have to have this double clevis here. Any of the chain links that just route around each other and have a threaded connector are not actually DOT certified. So you have to have this double clevis here. That's the only thing that works, but Menards has that. Probably any big box store would. I had to drill out this hole a little bit bigger, and then I could put this pigtail on here. Another approach that I have used, here's a different one, is to just put the hook directly on it, okay? By putting the hook directly on that, I can hook it to the D-ring on my trailer. This is a little less flexible, but if you've got D-rings on your trailer, they work beautifully, right? I can just run that right over there. These are slip hooks with this little safety on them, right? So the chain can slip through there, or the D-ring or whatever. But that's what I've used. This one is a grab hook. And the reason I use a grab hook is so I can go around something on my trailer and hook back into the chain, and that's how I attach it to the trailer, right? That gives me a lot more flexibility. There's a rub rail along there. There's stake pockets. Depending on how heavy the item is that I'm carrying, I can use different connectors there. These are good for 1025R, subcompact tractors. The maximum would be the 2038R. You get any bigger than that and it just puts too much strain on these. So to give a quick rule of thumb for tie downs, if you look at all the DOT specs and everything, it lists it a lot more complicated. But if you use 4 of these on a piece of equipment, one on each corner, you can add up the working load limit of these, in this case 1,166 pounds, and add all 4 of them together. So that is what, 4,400, 45, 4,600 pounds somewhere. That's how much you can tie down with these legally. That would definitely be the top end for me, because when you get them bouncing on your trailer sometimes, especially on the tail of my 28 foot, it puts a lot of strain on them. And the axle or the main shaft in here can get kind of warped and they don't retract nearly as well. But overall, these CargoBuckles are the best thing ever for your trailer tie down. It'll take at least 75% of the tie down time out of the process. And if you're tilling a garden and another garden and another garden, and you till several gardens in one evening, this is highly worth it. Load, unload, load, unload. If you're going to be doing that frequently, I highly recommend the CargoBuckle. Again, these are at the Amazon store, our Amazon store, or you can probably buy them at other retailers as well. I had to show you this one pretty early in the episode because I'm excited about it. Talked about it just a few episodes ago, but it was late in a long video. So I wanted you to see this bolt kit that I've got. You can get bolt kits from the big guys, US Bolt Kit, National Bolt Kit. One of the things that I found difficult is they give you so many of every size, especially the small sizes, like 600 of a 1/4 by half or something, and there's no way I'd use that in a whole lifetime. I've worked with Heavy Hitch to define a broader variety but less quantity of each bolt. And we've kind of double stuffed some of the bins so that we only have to include one bin. This gives us a bit more cost-effective way to get a broader selection of bolts. No, the quantities of these won't be as much, so the price per quantity would be cheaper if you go to National Bolt or US Bolt Kit, whatever. But again, for me, the overall cost is going to be lower because I don't need those huge quantities, right? So what I've done since that last episode is I've kind of rebagged everything a little bit here, right? And I got my own plastic bags, and like these are 5/8 by 2.5s. Right now, I am storing the metrics and the English. Whoops, I guess I didn't get that one covered. But I'm storing the metrics and the English in the same bin of similar, metrics and English of the similar size in the same bin, but in these separate bags. And I'm still looking at ways to be able to more efficiently use this bin space and I'm having a little trouble with it. So this may be the best approach that I've come up with. If any of you buy this kit, I'm happy to hear how you choose to arrange the bolts in yours. It does come with stickers. I think I may use a viewer suggestion and put magnets over this with the sizes. That way I could move them as I wish. But for now, this is a great solution for me, and it saves a 20-minute one-way trip to the hardware store when I'm right in the middle of a project and need a replacement bolt or washer or nut. Just much more comfortable to me. Of course, it is some degree of luxury. I realize that. And it's not cheap. Again, this is a pretty big investment, but for some of you, it may be just the right gift. Here's a nice one. A big piece of cable with a little hunk hanging off the end of it. Hey, we showed this in a video one time, probably a year and a half ago. It's called a smart connector, and it allows you to have a Bluetooth interface to your John Deere tractor. It does not work on the 1025R or 2025R, but anything 2, 3, 4 series, this works beautifully, and it allows you to see some basic information about your tractor. You can see error codes, you can see fuel level, you can see how hard it is pulling at a given instant. Okay, and since you've got your phone, you can even do some mapping with the app that comes with it. It is about $100, or at least it was $100 when we got ours. It's entirely possible it may be a little more expensive now. It seems like everything is. But it's called a smart connector. I will put a link in the description to where you can get this from greenpartsstore.com. Everything from greenpartsstore.com, if you use coupon code TTWT, you get free shipping. But we've got great reviews from the folks who bought this after the first episode, so it's really good. Hey, there is one trick on this thing. You cannot use the Bluetooth detection code or whatever to pair it. You have to go into the Deere app to pair this device, and some people have even returned it because of that, but it's no big deal. You just have to use the Deere app to do the pairing. What's next? This is interesting looking. I have not done a video on this yet, but I'm very excited about it. This is one of 2 pieces that you can get from Mudd's Custom. This is the left one. And this hooks on to your mower deck. So if your mower are flat on the ground, or actually you'd have to pick your mower up, preferably with the load and go, you take off the rear gauge wheel on the mower, and you use this pin right here, put up through there and pin it, okay? Then you can turn your mower up on end. You do one on each side, and you can roll it around in your garage. We'll show this very soon, hopefully, in an episode, but I wanted you to see this now because it's time to put up your mower. If you haven't already done so, it's time to get it put away. Perhaps you're tripping over it now like I always do. When combined with the load and goes that I've shown before, this is absolutely incredible. You don't have to lift on your deck at all. So, muddscustom.com, and it's called the JD Deck Wheels or something like that. 5% discount with coupon code TTWT. ISOtunes, you hear me talking about these things all the time. That's because I really like them. Now, my favorite ones are the Extra 2.0. They have a cable that I can keep them around my neck if I don't want them in my ears all the time. The other ones I really like are the ISOtunes Free. I carry them in my pocket all the time. This pair is probably 3 years old. All the writing's worn off of it, but they're still there, okay? And that way I can have hearing protection available anytime I want, or if I get tired of listening to Christy, I can put them in. And yeah, she's not watching this, is she? But seriously, I like being able to have hearing protection with me at all times, and these are small enough I can carry with me. The negative of the Frees are that if I need to take them in and out while I'm on a project, we do a lot of communication with each other, Christy and I, or with a customer while we're on a project. They're so small I might lose them, whereas the cabled one I can leave around my neck. I can just drop it off and put it back in. So those are my favorite, the Extra 2.0, the ISOtunes Free. Most Almost all of the ISOtunes products have a Black Friday special going on. There's a link in the description that you need to click to be able to get that Black Friday special. There's also a coupon code there in the description of this video where you can type in and get a 20% discount. It starts 9 a.m. the day before Thanksgiving. That's 2 hours after this video is published. So be patient, and it'll run, I think, till next Tuesday or something. So you have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that. You know I love these things. You see me wearing them all the time. Enough on that. Another one that I talk about occasionally, but I haven't talked about in quite some time, that is the LubeSHUTTLE, okay? LubeSHUTTLE is a different type of grease system than you've ever seen anywhere before. Well, I mean, you might have seen it very recently in the last couple of years on our channel. But there's no plunger in this grease gun. The tubes are removable without a mess. In fact, there's really no mess on this at all times. You get this at lube-shuttle.us/store. Grease and gun, you get them all there. We've recently shown, or will show pretty soon, another technique. If you don't want to use the LubeSHUTTLE grease, there is a 5-gallon pail dispenser so that you can fill these tubes on your own. You can buy the empty tubes, you can fill them with a 5-gallon dispenser. That way you can buy your own grease, and it's not expensive at all. If you're like me, that's not a big deal because I don't use that much grease. And even though these tubes are a little bit more expensive, they're so much cleaner that it's worth it to me. And it's not, you know, it amounts to probably $3, $4, $5 over the course of a year. So it's not a big deal to me to use these tubes and just having this clean finish. It's available in a battery version. It's also available in the pistol grip or the long handle grip, which are much less expensive. I love this thing. Check it out. I want you to take a look at this landscape rake. I showed it just a few weeks ago. At the time I showed it, it wasn't available on their website, so I thought I would show it and mention it again. It is available now on the Heavy Hitch website. This uses 2-inch receiver. Right here is solid 2-inch steel, okay? And it plugs into the back of a Heavy Hitch receiver. This is incredible from a design standpoint because it can be stored in such a small place. I mean, you can see it right here. It's right on the end of my pallet rack. This folds down. I just have it sticking up so you can see it a little bit easier. It's cost effective. There's a blade, a rear blade made in the same way, so you can get the rear blade and the landscape rake and one receiver hitch, okay, one weight bracket from Heavy Hitch, and store them in a very small place. So if you have storage issues, this right here is a great option for you. And I believe it's less than $500, and even less if you use code TTWT, get a 5% discount from anything at heavyhitch.com. I just think this is a great idea for the small property owner with limited storage. Hey, if you're a true Tractor Time with Tim lover, you might be interested in our merch. New this year is the orange stuff. Look at this hat. It's got a little orange top on it, orange bill. If you're all orange all the time, this one might be just for you. I'm wearing the Ventrac version of our logo. That's all available on our store. This is at tractortimewithttim.com/shop. And you know, we've always got the Deere version, of course. What I want to say about the merch is that you have to order pretty soon. Last year we had a lot of trouble with late orders, getting them processed, and then the mail got all messed up near the end of the year. And you know, we had some people January 15th or even the 1st of February getting their Christmas orders. It was crazy, and I apologize for that. We don't do the shipping for this stuff, but even so, I don't think I could have done any better. If you're going to get your merch orders in, get them very soon. Now, again, we're not trying to push the merch. If you want it, get it. If you don't, we understand. This isn't about us making any money. You guys have asked for merch, and we provide it. And so I hope you enjoy it. we really appreciate seeing people wear our merch when we go to a trade show. So there's the 3 different styles. As far as I know, all of the items are available in every style. If not, let me know soon and I'll get the website updated. TractorTimeWith Tim.com/shop. Okay, every year, I think, I have talked about spinner knobs. This is what I used to recommend right here. This one, it has the coolest looking John Deere logo, right? But as many of you have noticed, this one doesn't work very well. It doesn't have a very good connection to the steering wheel and it wants to rotate, right? It really only has a 2-dimensional connection. So because of that, about a year ago, I changed my recommendation. And the one that I recommend now is not quite as pretty, I'll admit, but it's going to last a lot longer. If you can see, this one has, you clamp it across here, and then it's got plenty on the front and back to allow it to rotate. Now, you won't be able to see in the bag here very well with the additional hardware, but there's a little piece of rubber that can attach to either end here, okay, to help you fit. And it's off-centered, so depending on what steering wheel you're putting it on, you can do it one way or the other, and you're almost guaranteed to get the right fit because there's so many options with this particular spinner knob. The web link is on my website, TractorTimeWithTim.com, or we'll put it in the description of this video. They're not very expensive, but a spinner knob makes a huge difference to the ability to turn quickly with your tractor. It's very nice. Okay, what's next? I'm going to pull them out of my pocket right now. My Knipex, whatever, pliers are my all-time favorite. As always, they're on my Amazon store. Go check them out. I also want to talk about how I store them. I did a whole episode on this. It's been nearly a year ago. But these pants right here are from Ariat, okay? And Ariat's partnered with us for quite a while, and I don't know that I've ever really mentioned it. I've been wearing their clothing for a long time, and I wanted to show you something special about these pants, or maybe just educational about if you want to try to use the side pocket. I call it a plier pocket because that's what my dad always carried in his. But they're usually called carpenter jeans. I don't think they're called carpenter jeans on the Ariat site. But a couple things. If you see this side pocket, which is down the right leg, almost always, make sure that the pocket is long enough. A lot of them will put a pocket along here, but it's only about 3 inches long. Well, there's no way that'll hold anything. The other thing that I want you to notice is this little strip right here, okay? So the pocket is this deep, but this little strip right here is what holds the pliers in when you sit down. So when you sit down like this, or maybe you're sitting on a tractor seat and you get to shaking, right? It will not bounce out because of that little piece right there. Well, I see several pants from several vendors that do not have a very big hook right there, or a very big indention, and so that could easily allow your tool to fall out, okay? And nobody wants their tools falling out. So anyway, I've really enjoyed wearing these Ariat clothes. There's a link in the description below on every episode we've got. You get a nice percentage off, at least on your first order. They're kind of expensive, but they've been very effective for me. Check them out, Ariat.com, link in the description. And of course, the Knipex. Are you getting any good ideas yet? I've got a list here. Oh, I've got one I don't even have over here. I don't think I've talked about this one before, but I've got a set of huge combination wrenches. They go from 1 5/16 inches all the way up to 2 inches, okay? I got mine at a farm show, so I can't find exactly the same price that I got there. In fact, if you do have opportunity to go to the farm show, the farm machinery show in February at Louisville, for instance, those guys will negotiate with you a little bit, and you can get some tools at good prices there. Meanwhile, if you don't have that opportunity, I did find a set of these, maybe with even one additional wrench that goes from 1 5/16 all the way to 2 inches. I put them on the Amazon store. They're more expensive than I paid, but of course, I would probably have to pay more now too, because as we've talked and as you already know, inflation is crazy. Now, I have used these larger wrenches a lot more than I ever thought I would. For instance, on the landscape rake, I needed a bigger wrench than what a typical combination wrench would do. So I highly recommend that. Now, if your tractor lover doesn't have a set of combination end wrenches that are smaller than just the regular size, I recommend that you get one from 1/4 inch to 1.25 inches. I forget how many there is in that range. Okay, but that's the standard size for what they call combination end wrenches or combination spanners. That's what these are. And again, I put a link to a set of those in our Amazon store in the tools section. You can check those out. That's a great gift. It's not that expensive, and it's something that will be used and will be used for a long time. Have you not found the right idea yet? Well, I've got another one for you. I've shown this before, and I still think it's a great idea. This is along the lines of the big wrenches. This is a 3/4 inch drive socket set. When they say 3/4 inch drive, they mean that this square piece that goes into the socket is 3/4 inches. So this will have everything up to 2 inches, I believe, and down to probably 7/8 or maybe even lower. Okay, looks like mine is 7/8. I found one again. It took a little more searching this year to find one that was cost competitive. I recommend getting a beginner set of 3/4 inch drive sockets. Don't go ahead and make a huge investment in the best quality. I'm not bragging on the quality of these at all. They are really just a beginner set, but you probably won't use them very often, and I suspect they'll get by for you. If you find they're not good enough, then yeah, you'll have to get a good set, but what you'll realize is that a good set is probably 4x or 5x the price of these entry-level sets. Again, check the Amazon store for that. Okay, let's revisit our connector. It's totally cooled now. I can't pull it apart. So it is nicely sealed, and I really like the looks of this. Waterproof and strong. Still having trouble deciding? Well, just buy one of everything. No, I recognize. We showed a lot of different items in this episode, not because we thought you would buy every one of them or even buy any of them, but we just want to give you some ideas. That's really what we're about here. I hope you found this helpful. I think there are some things here that I'd love to have for Christmas, and maybe I can get Christy to watch this. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows.